This is the Wavefondler. The Wavefondler is a Max MSP patch that I built, and what you're seeing is actually the Mira app, which allows visualizations of certain Max objects to be seen and interacted with via multitouch on the iPad. The Wavefondler allows interaction with audio running on the host computer. This audio is not native to the iPad, so there is a wireless connection between what we are seeing and doing with this visualization and real-time audio running on the host computer. If Max MSP was in Max for Live, for instance, then we could run this sample accurately in sync with the greater DAW environment. For simplicity for this demonstration, I've just got a 4-bar loop in here, and it's a drum and bassy little beat thing, and I'm going to show you some multi-touch interactions with this beat, and we'll do it in a slightly glitchy sort of style. Here's the beat. Notice the visualization updating with each bar, and it will wrap around after 4. Back to the beginning. Keeping it simple like that will allow you to understand what it is I'm doing and trust that you're not hearing real-time maneuvers in the source audio. This is the waveform view. The waveform view displays 1 bar at a time of the audio. There are a number of effects and manipulations available: volume, cutoff, a stutter effect, and a combined stutter and cutoff. And each of these has a number of presets available via the little matrix here. We have a quantize value which can be selected, which influences the selection range that we might apply in the bottom area, and we can select the same amount of each waveform by simply touching at the relevant point on the waveform. There is a live play mode and a loop mode, and beyond this, these 4 lanes up here allow certain effects to be implemented on specific note regions of each bar. For instance, that lane there will now apply a stutter effect between beats 2 and 3. The grid is 1, 2, 3, 4 at present. There are a number of these lanes, and the endpoints are influenced by the quantize factor. There's also some control over the filter function here. Another view is available via the Filter tab. Here again, we can see a visualization of the same bar. We have an XY pad area here, which allows interaction with cutoff and resonance for the low-pass filter, a similar one for the band-pass filter, which has a frequency shift function built in as well, a number of filter-specific presets, filter modes, and we have a few buttons here which control different ways of interacting with the filter, or indeed a transposer which is also built in there. There are some compressor settings which are preset to interact with the filter presets to optimize them. This is the chopper view. The chopper view is different in that the waveform visualization that we can see simply acts as a visual guide to indicate which piece of the waveform is playing at a given point in time, and time is running top to bottom on the y-axis. So this is beat 1, this is beat 2, this is beat 3, this is beat 4. And according to this histogram that's running on the x-axis, beat 1 indeed plays the beginning of the waveform, beat 2 will play that transient there, beat 3 will play that one there, beat 4 will run to the end. It's currently quantized to quarter notes, but if we put that in 1/8 notes, we can now see it will go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or indeed the same with 16th notes. There's also a transposition function here. There's a couple of different algorithms available, and selecting given pitches here will transpose the audio by that amount, either up or down, centered around this point. If I put the system into loop mode and select a given region, then that region can be looped round and round. You'll You'll notice it updates with each bar since it is beat 3 to 4, which is currently playing, but the bars are continually updating in real time. I can, in fact, change which region plays in real time. And I can change the size of that region by pinch zooming with my fingers. I can also change the quantize value to pinch zoom to different values. And again, I can loop those regions. And those are synced to a clock, so you can't go out of time. If I go back to quarter note and select an area here, I can now put it into volume mode. This allows two-finger control, where one finger can adjust the volume of the slice that's playing back on the vertical axis in the upper area here. We start off with 0 attenuation going to maximum attenuation. That ensures a smooth transition as you slide the fingers from the selection area to the manipulation area. And the second finger allows us to change slice. Etc. We can also put it into cutoff mode. Now the two fingers will control cutoff and resonance respectively. Bit of manual envelope following there. Etc. And indeed, those two fingers can be used simultaneously with the presets which change the filter settings. Allowing for a wide variety of filter effects. There's also a stutter mode. This time, the position of the finger on the vertical axis changes an algorithmic stutter effect, which allows kind of slower to faster, although the note values do change along with things like LFOs and pitch sweeps. The presets affect these as well. And there's also a combined cutoff and stutter mode. This time the filter and stutter algorithms are combined, and again we have y-axis control in the upper area and some presets available. For some very mad glitch effects. If I take it out of loop mode and put it into live play mode, I can now play individual slices. Like that. Or I can actually run the transport and interact with those slices to do a manual beat slicing effect. Etc. We can of course change the quantize value for those things. For those kind of classic jungle effects. We can also include the volume in that kind of interaction. thus, or indeed the cutoff. Or indeed the stutter. And of course cutoff and stutter too. So now let's try a few of the different lanes activating different effects in different parts of the bar. A filter. A stutter coming after it. Which changes algorithmically. Turn those off. Let's try the chopper. Transposer. And all sorts of glitch madness is possible. Here's the chopper screen. In the current screen, we're quantized to quarter notes, and beat 1 plays the beginning of the waveform, beat 2 plays at that point, beat 3 plays at that point, and beat 4 plays at that point. So in other words, the waveform will play back as before, wrapping round each bar, of course. If, however, I wanted it to play at beat 2 of the waveform, on beat number 1, 2, 3, and 4, that selection will wrap it round that particular transient. Or indeed this one. Or alternate. Or play backwards. Some classic beat slicing moves. Doing the same thing quantized to eighths. This time we count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you can see the coloured lines of the histogram progressing through the visualization. The notes will slice according to an eighth note division, so now you will hear or some mixtures. Or a good old scramble. Backwards, or 30-second notes. In this screen, we also have a transpose function available. There are two different algorithms. There's the first one, and I can control the amount of offset to middle C by moving that way or that way. In a drum beat like this, obviously, there's no problem, it's just a mashup thing, but you have to proceed with care if you're working with pitched material, which this system can do perfectly well, by the way. Here's the transpose. Different algorithm. That's the AB between the two. And for good old mashups, you can of course mix the slicing. Like that. Let's look at the filter screen. We have an XY pad where the Y-axis of this area controls the cutoff and the X-axis the resonance. A tap will set both simultaneously at any point on the XY matrix. One finger can drag cutoff and the second can bring resonance in. Giving a very tactile control. We can also put it into bandpass, and this area now will give us some bandpass manipulations. And you can hear that this control also affects a frequency shifter that's built in there. So that's the XY pad mode. In addition to XY pad, we can also change to an enveloping mode. Now here is the waveform display we're used to, showing one bar at a time, and I'm able to draw a filter envelope, let's just change the mode there, which will repeat over the duration of this bar. Obviously the audio is updating in the background. And of course it's multi-touch, so you can aim for points in the waveform and put timed filter effects in very easily. Which is lots of fun. Of course, there are the presets which can be run at the same time as that. Instead of using the filter envelope, we can also, I'll just open up the cutoff there, we can also put it into transpose mode. And now a bunch of horizontal lines in the center, which conform to eighth notes, will transpose individual slices in the old Reason Dr. Rex style, if you like. Multi-touch. It's not a terribly clever transposition algorithm, but it makes the point. Having selected the entire bar for processing, if I change from cutoff to cutoff and stutter mode and return to the filter screen, the envelopes, etc. will now affect a stuttered version of the audio. And again, there's some great mashup potential there. So there's the Wavefondler, a multi-touch way of interacting with audio on a host computer. There's no doubt that eye tracking, voice and 3D gesture will take over before the eventual thought control, but for the moment it's all about multi-touch. Obviously, manufacturers have to implement multi-touch into their own proprietary systems, and we can look forward to the days when we actually have multi-touch interaction on Apple computers. But this hybrid approach, I think, gives us a taste of the way we'll all be working in the future. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it got you thinking.